These I've been on the fence on. Yeah, these are the AirPods Pro 2. These are the non-USB-C one. We're still dealing with Lightning, RIP Lightning sometimes. We found this purchase very interesting. I listened to the AirPods Pro 1 and I hated them. I thought they were garbage. They had this plasticness to them. There was no definition. There was no bass. Treble was treble. It was so shrill. Podcasts were extremely annoying to listen to sometimes on those. And yeah, I just said, with Apple products, I'm off them. I went and had the AirPods Max at an Apple retail store, and I felt those were not it. They sounded even worse. It sounds like someone put cotton in between your ear and the driver. And these came out like a year ago, and I said, you know what, I'll give them a try. I haven't been in a position to appreciate Apple's audiophile section, like the HomePod and the HomePod Mini, and own them. But when I have listened to them sparingly, they've impressed me. And this is the best of the bunch. Okay, what Apple has done here in terms of tuning, oh god, I hope they're not yucky, but yeah, in terms of tuning, DSP magic. And I am one for gimmicks. If your gimmick makes sense, if your gimmick enhances my experience, sign me in. Okay, sign me in. I wasn't necessarily going, oh, you know what, noise cancelling will be the thing saving me from day to day. Not really. It's not changing the quality of my life. I'm not a recluse, and in fairness, when I'm out and about, I'm not even using AirPods most of the time, or earphones rather. The features that I cherish so highly with this are transparency, which we will get into, and we will talk about quality of life stuff. But right now, I just want to take the time to review this as an audiophile product first. Okay, and you'll be like, audiophile product, how? Yeah, $250 is barely breaking the mark. And I'll say, okay, the Blessing to Dusk that I reviewed forever ago, well, I believe like $50 more. And I personally believe you don't need much more than those up until like the $1,000 mark. Yeah, these are, the way they rival my Blessing to Dusk is scary. And I think one of the ways I can show that is with the graphs. Now, yes, Clinical did a good job, okay, yeah, you can clearly see Blessing to Dusk. Bass is cut off, bass shifts into the mid-range a lot smoother, all right? But it's not that far off. Apple tried, all right? They really tried. The mid-range is a bit iffy. And the graph I'm using specifically is the one in transparency mode, and we will talk about the equal loudness compensation in a bit. But I look at frequencies look at the way 6K plays, somewhat similar. I look at how the mids, pinner, there are similarities that make this go, okay, fine, I see what you're doing there. And when you listen, you'll be like, okay, fine, I get it. Okay, you'll understand why Blessing to Dusk for me was this acted as a very easy bridge. It acted as a, okay, now I'm going ANC mode. I don't have to use I have an AU and BU2 that I use, or rather used to use every day with my Blessings. But since I got this, I haven't looked back. Now, talking on the equal loudness curve, As many of you know, these don't graph similarly, okay? When I say similarly, it's like this particular earphone can produce different graphs because at different volume levels. And this is because it follows the equal loudness curve, okay? Whereby your frequency, certain frequencies, specifically bass and treble, change with the volume, all right? The lower the volume tends to be, the harder it is to pick out these frequencies in bass and treble. So what Apple did, yeah, what Mr. Tim Cook, Boss Tim Cook, Daddy Tim Cook, they decided, you know what, the lower your volume, the higher will jack up the bass and the treble. Not only does it promote, better quality of life, longer listening, protecting your ears, it provides a sound signature that matches somewhat to the Blessing to Dusk that is thoroughly entertaining. It is thoroughly, engaging. Weight is expressed very, very well via these IEMs. Body, and that's a theme that you will see as we go through the track listing. Yeah. Let me just go as we've always done, step by step, genre by genre. Okay. Churches literally came out with the remaster of the greatest alternative or 80s inspired synth pop or synthwave album. Yeah, you see the mother we share. Yeah, it's back. It's back. Now churches have had some howlers. I don't know who's mixing their stuff. I don't know why everything they make is so piercing. With these, mid-range, smooth, as you can tell from the graph. All right, opening up with Lauren. Her voice wisping, left to right channel, clearly separated. Yeah, headspace wide, ideal. Fidelity is okay. That's my biggest problem. All right. However, synth passages come on with a certain amount of weight and heft, and Church's tracks can be busy, but this does its very best to separate things. All right. Separation is pretty good. What I will say is a big problem, and it's a problem for all Apple devices, is listen, we're still in the archaic days of AAC. All right. Don't hate on us. We are suffering. Yeah. I don't know why. We suspect when Vision Pro comes out and they have this new codec that they created for the headset and the USB-C AirPods, that maybe we'll be coming into the modern day. Yeah, we're still back in the days of Methuselah. All right, them days. All right. Now we are struggling with fidelity, and it's not like it's the worst thing, but it's okay considering we're moving from plugged in wired things, coming from this big boy. This is the SMSL SH8S. It's usually paired up with my Denafrips Aries or my SMSL, the DAC. I don't know what it's called, but I gave out my Aries just for testing with the body. And the SH DAC is currently what is used for telly. I plug in my Sony TV, but I digress. It's such a step. It's such a relieving feeling moving from this onto this. Look at them. They're so tiny and so cute. And if you're an iOS user like me, life is so simple. But we move on to the next pop track, and that is, Adekunle. Soro. Now this is mixed in Atmos, and I am very much, again, one for gimmicks. I'm not going to necessarily say that Atmos changes the way things sound drastically, but it is a different experience. Maybe like a 13% if you're keen. Now, typical, Nigerian track, shakers all over the place, dancing, whispering from left to right, simple synth passages, starting off, and then all of a sudden it's haunting, 808, more synth patches, swallowing the track, swirling all over the place, you know, very simple piano keystrokes, nothing life-changing. Then all of a sudden, the track becomes glorious. Adekunle's voice is smooth, maybe somewhat distant, and I think maybe that's to do with Atmos, because Lauren sounds very clear, very clean. It sounds a bit robotic. Maybe that has to do with, you know, Nigerian mastering at the end of the day, but it's spectacular. You have a kick that is clean and precise and effective, and it gets you know moving your shoulders. That's what a Nigerian track should do. All songs from West Africa, and this gets you dancing. Bass is heavy, you know. All of the traditional thoughts that come with a Nigerian track are very prominent, you know. And there's a crescendo towards the end of the track, and a swelling violins. It's beautiful. This does not skip a beat. Again, go back to the aspects of fidelity. It's not the greatest, but I think because of how Atmos spaces our tracks, you don't necessarily miss anything. Yeah. Moving on to rap. Guys, come on, that Heady and K-Trap. Oh my god, that record is insane. And M1 specifically is a phenomenal producer, but I think the track that everyone knows and prefers is, you know, Park Shin-won. Oh yeah, I know. You know, my Europa Boost was on a bender with that one. Yeah, it starts off with a very haunting piano ballad, you know, in the right channel, and it follows up with a very clean snare that runs specifically to the top right of your headspace in this area, and you can pick it up. You don't ever struggle with where instruments are or what instrument is playing, which is phenomenal considering this is AAC, garbage AAC, all right? Khan's, you know, he takes it back to the basics, you know, with his production. Simple piano, you know, simple kick drum, simple snares, then the 808s come in, all right? And at no point is it affected by Heady's voice, because Heady's can be very hard to listen to sometimes. The track is mixed well. The tuning of the IM allows for bass to still hit hard, for the voices which are extremely prominent, especially in rap, to not sound piercing as it used to back in the day with, like, I don't know if many of you remember the Cactus Jack album. That thing hurt. And IMs like this are able to play out songs like those a bit better. It's not dead, it's not killing the highs, but it's good at 50, 55 decibels. It's a fantastic listen. Yeah. You then move on to one of Drake's, or I believe 40's best produced songs, which is A Calling For You. Now, it's controversial, but I think this song is, at least the first bit, including, you know, the wailing from the girl whose holiday was spoiled, eating oxtail. It's crazy how well this plays on that song. I only listen to Drake because I want to listen to 40. And 40 takes us back to the days of, you know, Charged Up. I still feel like that song is so haunting and so well produced, man. And the grungy soul, or it's a very highly molested 808. It is crazy. All right. You start off with that song going, okay, yeah, this is happening. You make stank face from the go. It's a haunting muted cowbell, you know. There's a raucous kick, you know, hidden in the back. The hi-hats are all over the place, yeah. Still very much on the top left, yeah, and reverb, you know, makes the track sound grander than it is. And this is something that this tuning that is very Blessing to Dusk-ish provides us with. You know, a sense of envelopment, a sense of body, you know, heft, weight. It helps this song, or rather the first part of this track, just get you going. You know, Drake is mixed well because 40 is involved. Otherwise, Drake is insanely nasally and the worst person to listen to on a track. he is very hard to listen to, and 40 mixes him extremely well. You have these somewhat 90s synths going on, and they're not invasive. They give healthy body to the track, and all items mesh and meld very well. No part of the frequency band sticks out. You don't feel like there's too much bass, you don't feel like there's too much treble, or the mid-range is off. Perfect all-round listen for something like rap, you know? And it translates very easily into electronic, which shares the same aspects of grungy, heavily edited 808s, kick drums, you know, the snares, the hi-hats. Our girl, Jessie Lanza, on I believe it's Midnight, oh god, I can't remember the specific track, but the album is phenomenal. Cool, you know, dance album. Kick drums and synths building up well, and then Jessie comes in with her voice, and her voice is so sweet and so mellow, cuts through, you know, the track, and nothing is missed. It comes through in the manner, you know, with a weight that you would expect Blessing to Dusk to do every day. This does it relatively effortlessly, of course, missing out on fidelity, but it's there. It's there, you know. You take that and the tuning of this, and you play Sculpted by Haywire, you know. Incredible. It sounds like Optimus Prime changing in your ears. I've always felt that way, you know. Those classy bells ringing and souls building up, you know, they sound crass but so well refined, and this lets you see that. Yeah. You have elements of the track transforming into this ethereal swirl from left to right, and again, the way this is tuned, nothing feels out of place. Elements of the track that should wow you, like the beautiful break, and you know, the last half of the track, I believe it's like last minute, is insane. You know, sparkles shine through, deep source shine through, 808s, the kick drum, everything is done so well by these guys. Yeah. Those aspects, I feel, make it a very good listen for what we're typically listening to. Electronic, rap, you know, pop, spectacular all-round listen. This is very much a consumer product. It smells of it. You know, places where maybe it struggles, but it still tries its best, all right? And I won't say it fails miserably is in classical music. You know, listening to my boy Ludwig, yeah, he is on the road to be the greatest. I think he'll surpass Hans. But Fusion, which is mixed in Atmos, is an event. Now, I'll agree, on Blessing to Dusk, it's way better. There's a lot more atmosphere, there's a lot more body, there's a lot more warmth. The kick is evil. It is genuinely devilish. This tries, I'll say it is 60% of the way to Blessing to Dusk in that regard. The separation of instruments is fantastic. Violins, cello, and percussion come in the track. Stop it. But they come into the track so well with the heft that is necessary. The bass is actually textured, and we're using AAC poo-poo garbage, guys. Yeah? AAC poo-poo garbage. It's phenomenal. All right? You don't need to be wired up 24/7. Yeah? And I haven't even got to the quality of live stuff. Yeah? The final 40 seconds of this track are such an event. And just like with the Church's track, it doesn't feel confused. It doesn't just feel like a heap of garbage. You know, maybe it has an element to, you know, being mixed in Atmos, and I don't necessarily, I understand the, you know, the whole spatial audio thing, and it's in Atmos, it being fixed sounds remarkable. The elements of the track are, it sound off, which can happen if you use spatial audio. But when it's intended to be mixed that way and sound that way, it sounds spectacular. Also, another track you need to listen to is Theorists. It's amazing. It sounds imperial. Another track that you can tell, okay, fine, you're struggling, is It's Done, off of the final season of Succession. It's unfortunate how badly that show ended. But then again, the same things we've been talking about with this weight. It gives you, percussive elements, vibrato, vibrato in instruments, things like cellos and soundstage. The bass tuning, I feel, offers all of these up so well, and then you have violins that made that peaky treble cut through that cloud that is built up, at the beginning of this track. The cellos, and it sounds intimidating. And then after all of that, you have the classic 808s. Yeah, that from the main theme of the show. It's bonkers. Yes, we're missing out on fidelity. I feel like, yes, it is 55% 60 of what plugged in earphones can do with very good source. But for the $200, I got this for $200. It was on sale. Now, they've been out for a while. I am not complaining. And I'm not one to spend my money just on warrant. All right? Yes, it might not be elite in terms of fidelity, but it's nearly there. And I am mighty pleased by that. Yeah. But now to talk about quality of life. Excuse me? Yeah, I stay by myself, and I don't necessarily always need noise cancellation. It's still good. I still think the Bose Ultras are spectacular. I tried those out at the store. They were fantastic, but these aren't bad. All right, it struggles with high-pitched sounds like children crying, or if you have your volume too high, someone's watching the news, you may struggle with that. All right. What I think these excel at, and what I use this every day for, is transparency and adaptive mode. Now, everyone knows transparency on these is the best in the market. Hands down, no question about it. Everything else sounds very robotic and somewhat forced. I don't know, when you wear these, you don't feel like your surrounding is being forced upon you. You just feel like, I'll get on to comfort, but you feel like you've put on something and you're still functioning as though there's nothing in your ears. And you'll definitely know these things in your ears, but you can just go about your life. I wear these all day for as long as they permit me. All right, I walk normally without them. I don't take them out up until the point that they die. All right. Now, what I have a bit of a gripe with transparency and the new adaptive mode, and I think Apple did this thing where they wanted to make adaptive mode, the new gimmick, so you have to sacrifice something, typical Apple. I think they sacrificed transparency mode. I remember how it sounded when I first got this before I shifted over to iOS 17, and they tweaked it. I think they cut off a bit of the highs, I believe. I know that adaptive mode feels a lot more normal. Transparency kind of lost its, transparency is the old babe, all right? The BBL will still be BBLing, but this new one, she got the things done tingingly, and that's what we use. And adaptive mode has features such as conversation awareness, where you'll speak, of course this is separate, but you can have it in transparency mode. But when you combine conversation awareness with adaptive mode, you'll speak, it'll take note of someone that's speaking back to you, conversation will continue. Now, it is finicky. There are moments when I'll be speaking to, let's say, to my brother, he'll talk to me, and the music will pause for the duration with which he's speaking to me, and I back to him. There are times when I will speak, and I think conversation awareness will pick up something that's being said, like on the telly, and it'll prolong my music, the pause function a little bit longer. But it's also finicky in times when that just won't happen. It won't pick up on the fact that you're speaking to someone and just raise back the volume, gradually. And I feel like the duration with which it does it is very natural. I don't think it's uncomfortable or you feel like you need to take them out of your ears. That's the thing. You don't feel like you need to take them out. It is a gimmick, but it's good. It works. All right. I believe that everyone understands call quality on these is the best in the market. No one can tell whether you're using your microphone on your iPhone or these. It's that simple. Spatial audio, yes, it's a gimmick, but can it make certain tracks sound fun? All right. I believe that maybe it's not always the best for music, but things like podcasts, with head tracking, I feel like is good. It's fun. It's different. I was recently watching Maximilian stream Doom Eternal. I was just going back to his voice to experience the game. The game in spatial audio is fantastic. It is haunting. That game is scary. You have creatures, mixed all over the place in the room, and the way this does it is, it's haunting. It is amazing. And then when Mick Gordon's soundtrack kicks in, it's grungy, it's thick, it's bassy, it's effective. And I guess this is a mini review of how this performs with rock. It's spectacular. Yeah, it comes back to the whole bass giving it body and warmth, and you can see kind of how the mid bass is kind of affected by the bass. It doesn't slope smoothly. It's amazing for that. So YouTube videos, live streams, gaming, amazing. You have features such as connection to Apple TV. I have an Apple TV. At night, there were moments when, I just want to, it may not be, it's been inconveniencing, but there will be times when, okay, guys are asleep. We have thin walls. I just want to watch something, just end the last bits of this show by myself. Just open the case, as such, right? It pops up on your telly, press the home button, you're connected and you're watching. It's that simple. Control the volume from your iPhone. The quality of life is crazy. Yeah, the battery understandably could be better, but I get at least 3 charges from this to full from dead. I don't use one in one ear, one in the other. I feel like that's demonic. Yeah, I know, of course. Yeah, but charging from full, at least for me, 15 minutes? Yeah, and I'm good, so I'm not mad. The quality of life is elite. When you wrap that up, along with everything I've told you in terms of like sound quality, you have such a fantastic experience on your hands. I am not complaining in any way. That's not true. Maybe one. And that is, my God, the fit. Now, as you can tell, these are made of plastic. Sorry. Yeah, and dear God, thank God there's no earwax on these, because these can get yucky because they're white. Yeah. But the fit is so painful. Coming from these, my Master and Dynamics, which I've had for forever. The reason I got these is because these, I think the battery life is just getting bad. And the carry case, is a bit beat up, but it's also not holding charge as well. Although these still have a fantastic, standby time. Look at how beat up these are. But this, I did not, I realized I was taking all of the rubber in this area that contacts your concha. I was taking it for granted. This whole rubber housing is such a fantastic decision, especially for exercise. These are still my exercise buds. Still, till this day. Look at how beat up they are with the rubber, rubbing off from the IAMs. To this day. You cannot wear these for as long as you would love them, as long as you would love to. Now, I choose to suffer, but around like the 3rd hour, 4th hour, I have to take these off and rub my ears a bit, give it like a 10-minute rest, and then I put them back in, because the just hard plastic is so unbearable. And another thing which is odd about said plastic, because I think it's the same plastic on the earbuds as this plastic is it's very prone to scratches, light scratches. And I don't know why. At no point, most of the time I'm resting this on a microfiber cloth in my room when I'm not using them. And in my pocket, my pockets aren't lined with anything. I always keep them separate from my keys or my phone. And I have massive gashes. I don't know if you'll be able to pick them up in the camera, but there are some crazy gashes on this thing. And I have no idea where they came from. I don't know if you'll be able to pick it up. And yeah, it's slippery, which is why I took this from my AU&B to this lanyard and just put it in here to make my life easier. Find My feature is phenomenal. Yeah, I never lose things in general. The fact that you can just use the UN chip to find this, the quality of life is phenomenal. So for $250, or I guess now you can get them for $200, I think this is a major steal. I think everyone should jump on this. I think especially iOS users should jump on this. It's a fantastic, fantastic product. And I think once they update it to the 3, yeah, sure, step up. Yeah, for the audiophiles, this is the go-to. This is the true wireless solution. I know there are other ones that sound better, but like, I'm not buying true wireless earphones for $400. Stop it. I'm not doing that. No, sorry. 200 is the max I can go. All right, and this is it. This is it. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. This was me and Papoose. All right, hopefully we don't disappear for too long. All right, if you like the video, please like and subscribe. All right, there will be more coming. This the time, I promise. I calm down. All right. Again, at the end of the day, you shouldn't break the bank, but you need to love what you're listening to, and I believe you will with these. Take care.